There was nothing like Saturday mornings in the 90s. Pajamas on, cereal poured, and the living room all to yourself, at least for a little while. One shot to catch the weirdest, wildest cartoons networks had to offer before they vanished forever. Maybe you remember a teddy bear that rapped, or 2 jet-flying cats saving the city in secret. Or maybe you don't. In this video, we're counting down 10 forgotten 90s Saturday morning cartoons only true 90s kids remember. Number 10. Bonkers, 1993 to 1994. Bonkers was what happened when someone said, "Hey, what if Roger Rabbit quit Hollywood and joined the LAPD?" And instead of saying no, Disney said, "Perfect." That's how we got Bonkers, a cartoon bobcat turned cop who bounced and screamed his way through toon crime in a world where logic took the day off. He used to be a big toon star, but after his career tanked, Bonkers teamed up with a human detective to keep the peace between humans and toons. The result? Pure Saturday morning mayhem. Bonkers defied gravity, laws, and volume control. One second, he's turning into an accordion. The next, he's solving a jewel heist with a banana peel. Jim Cummings, aka the voice behind half your childhood, brought Bonkers to life, which should have been enough to make this show a classic. But behind the scenes, total whiplash. Midway through the season, the show ditched Bonkers' cranky partner Lucky and replaced him with the much friendlier Miranda. No warning, no explanation, just poof, new dynamic, new vibe, slightly shinier animation. And yet, we stuck around because Bonkers was weird in a way that worked. It was loud, unhinged, and had that "what did I just watch?" energy that only early 90s cartoons pulled off. The theme song still lives rent-free in our heads. Totally nuts! And honestly, so did the show. It came in hot, burned fast, and vanished like a tune in a puff of smoke. But if you were there, you remember. Number 9. Life with Louie, 1995 to 1998. In a sea of kids with laser eyes and mutant pets, Life with Louie rolled in with reality. No magic, no monsters, just Louie Anderson as a cartoon version of himself, dealing with cranky relatives, awkward classmates, and the crushing weight of childhood disappointment. It sounds boring. It wasn't. Somehow, this slow-paced, small-town slice of life hit hard. Louie's dad was loud, cheap, and allergic to emotions. Louie just wanted to survive gym class without getting humiliated. And every episode had that weird mix of comedy and quiet heartbreak that made you laugh, then think, wow, same. The art style was unmistakable. Everyone looked a little lumpy, a little exaggerated, kind of like your memories of the 90s. And that opening? Just Louie walking on stage like he was hosting a comedy special. Growing up wasn't easy, he'd say, and you knew exactly where this was going. The show didn't chase trends, it didn't do explosions, it did feelings. And that's why it stuck. It made awkward kids feel seen without ever turning them into a punchline. In between all the fart jokes and alien sidekicks of the Saturday lineup, Life with Louie was the one show brave enough to just be human. Number 8, Eek, the Cat Eek Stravaganza, 1992 to 1997. Eek had one motto: it never hurts to help. And every episode made it painfully clear that was a lie. This purple cat was basically optimism with whiskers. He tried to do the right thing and got absolutely obliterated for it. Crushed by falling pianos, zapped by rogue robots, blown across continents by freak weather, it didn't matter. Eek would smile, shake it off, and do it all over again. The show was fast, like blink and you miss 10 jokes fast. It was slapstick dialed to 11 with animation that felt like it had chugged 3 cans of Surge. Characters bent like rubber, explosions happened mid-sentence, and the pacing was chaos in the best way. And just when it couldn't get weirder, it did. Later seasons became Eek Stravaganza and added new segments like the terrible thunder lizards, aka armed dinosaurs blowing stuff up, and Clutter, where a sentient pile of trash solved mysteries with children. Because of course it did. Eek wasn't just a cartoon, it was a test of your Saturday morning attention span. And somehow, we were locked in. The humor was sharp, the animation was bonkers, and the vibe, pure 90s absurdity. If you remember that weirdly dramatic theme song and a cat who got flattened more times than you can count, congrats, you survived Eek. Number 7, Bump in the Night, 1994 to 1995. This one felt like someone left a haunted toy box in a microwave and hit start. Bump in the Night was stop-motion mayhem at its finest. It followed Mr. Bumpy, a lumpy green monster who lived under a kid's bed, ate socks for snacks, and thrived on chaos. His partners? A plastic-wrapped neurotic doll and a blue blob that lived in the toilet. Yes, really. It was gross, it was goofy, and somehow it worked. What made this show unforgettable was the vibe. It didn't look like anything else on TV. While every other cartoon was smooth and shiny, Bump in the Night was gritty, weird, and claymation creepy in a way that felt more like late-night Nickelodeon than Saturday morning. But that was the magic. The characters moved like they were held together with glue and nightmares, and the comedy leaned hard into what did I just watch? Episodes got weird. Mr. Bumpy hallucinates after binging socks. There are musical numbers for no reason. One moment it's puns, the next it's pure fever dream. And the theme song? A weirdly bluesy jam that sounded like it belonged in a dive bar, not a kid's cartoon, and yet it slapped. It only ran for 26 episodes before Disney came in and cleared the slate. But if you caught it, you remember. You remember the Gumbo-style animation, the chaotic energy, and that weird mix of cute and kind of disturbing. Bump in the Night wasn't just a show, it was a dare. And some of us were brave enough to watch. Number 6, Freakazoid, 1995 to 1997. This show didn't just break the fourth wall, it demolished it with a cartoon mallet and then danced on the rubble in its underwear. Freakazoid was what happened when the creators of Batman, the animated series, said, "Let's stop being serious and just get weird." And they did not hold back. It followed Dexter Douglas, a computer geek who got zapped into cyberspace and came out the other side as a hyper, loud, blue-suited superhero with zero chill and even less logic. He shouted. He sprinted. He went on random tangents mid-sentence. One moment he's fighting a villain, the next he's hosting a fake talk show or arguing with the narrator. The whole thing felt like a cartoon version of channel surfing during a sugar crash, and it was glorious. And the cast? Ridiculous. Rob Paulsen, Ed Asner, Ricardo Montalban, David Warner. This thing was stacked. The writing was smart, fast, and filled with gags you definitely didn't get as a kid, but now realize were low-key brilliant. The show roasted pop culture, TV networks, other cartoons, even itself. Nothing was safe. It wasn't for everyone. Some kids were baffled, some adults were stressed, but for the weird kids, the ones who laughed at stuff just because it made no sense at all, Freakazoid was their spirit animal in spandex. It didn't run long, but that was kind of the point. Like its main character, the show came in loud, made a mess, and bailed before it could get boring. And if you ever randomly yelled "freak out" in the middle of class for no reason, yeah, you were definitely watching. Number 5, Sea Bear and Jamal, 1996 to 1997. Now this was a vibe. Sea Bear and Jamal was like if your conscience had a boombox and a pair of shades. Jamal was just a regular 10-year-old trying to figure life out. School drama, growing up, pressure from friends, and then boom. His teddy bear comes to life, starts talking in Tone Loc's voice, and starts dropping beats and wisdom. That's Sea Bear. Half mentor, half DJ, all attitude. It wasn't just another kid with a magical sidekick show. It actually had something to say. Every episode tackled real stuff. Feeling left out, losing someone, trying to fit in. But instead of lecturing you, Sea Bear would break into a smooth rhyme and make it make sense. It was honest, funny, and had legit heart, all wrapped in a hip-hop soundtrack that honestly still holds up. And the cast? Solid. You had Big Chill, the older dude who somehow always had snacks and a license. Kwame, deep into conspiracy theories before it was cool. And Maya, the straight A friend who didn't take nonsense from anybody. It felt like a real crew, not perfect, not polished, just real. Visually, it had that bold, scratchy 90s cartoon look, loud colors, wacky angles, lots of motion. And that theme song, if it's already in your head, you're one of the chosen few. Sea Bear and Jamal, echoes and beatbox. It only ran for 13 episodes, but they aired everywhere. It felt like it was always on. And for a short-lived show, it made a huge impression. If you remember it, you remember feeling it. Cool, weird, wise, and just the right kind of strange. Number 4, SWAT Kats, The Radical Squadron, 1993 to 1995. If you grew up in the 90s and didn't want to pilot a jet as a buff cat in body armor, we don't know what to tell you. SWAT Kats was pure Saturday morning rocket fuel. Two ex-enforcer cats, T-Bone and Razor, got kicked off the force and said, "Screw it, we'll save the city ourselves." So they set up shop in a junkyard, built a fighter jet out of scrap, and started launching missiles from trash piles. That's not a metaphor. That actually happened, and it ruled. Mutant monsters? Check. Robot armies? Check. Sky-high dogfights and turbo-powered motorbikes flying out of the Turbo Cat like action figure fever dreams? Double check. It was gritty without being grim, cool without trying too hard. The animation was slick, the pacing was relentless, and every episode felt like it was cranked to 11. What made SWAT Kats stand out was the edge. It didn't feel sanitized. The villains were intense. The stakes felt real. And yeah, sometimes it got dark. Not nightmare-fueled dark, but should I be watching this? Dark. It gave you that thrill that you were watching something a little too intense for Saturday morning, and that's why you couldn't look away. And then, gone. No finale, no warning, just canned. Rumor says Ted Turner didn't like the violence. Whatever the reason, SWAT Kats just vanished, right when it felt like it was hitting its peak. But the fans? Still here. Still waiting for a reboot. Still humming that theme song. Because SWAT Kats didn't just hit hard, it stuck. It was raw, it was fast, and it made you believe two cats in helmets could save the world. Number 3. The Mask, animated series, 1995 to 1997. Yep, The Mask had a cartoon. And no, it wasn't just the movie watered down for kids, it was the movie's unhinged cousin on a sugar rush. This time around, Stanley keeps the mask, and every episode is him trying to survive his job, his love life, and total citywide destruction, all while turning into a green-faced maniac with zero self-control and infinite powers. Spoiler, it never goes well, and that's exactly why it worked. This show was chaos in motion. Physics, optional, logic, out the window. One second he's a giant chicken, the next he's reenacting a soap opera with sock puppets. It was like Looney Tunes, but caffeinated and wearing a zoot suit. The mask could shapeshift, break the fourth wall, bounce back from anything, and he never shut up. It was beautiful madness. But here's the wild part. The cartoon didn't just recycle movie bits, it built way more world. New villains like the creepy brain-in-a-jar Dr. Pretorius, wild gadgets, and deeper dives into Edge City made it feel like its own thing. And Stanley? Total millennial energy. An anxious everyman just trying to make it through the day until the mask came on and turned him into walking chaos. Rob Paulsen, aka basically half your childhood, voiced Stanley, and he nailed it. Every pun, every yell, every ridiculous bit landed hard. The animation, fast, bright, stretchy, and just slightly disturbing, perfect for the tone. And that theme song, a total breakdown in music form, and we mean that in the best way. If you remember the mask turning into a blender, a balloon, or a Broadway star in the span of 30 seconds, congrats, you were really there. It was messy, loud, and absolutely perfect for Saturday mornings. Number 2, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, 1993 to 1997. If Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark were your intro to spooky stories, Tales from the Crypt Keeper was the cartoon that quietly said, "Yeah, let's go darker." This one flew under the radar, but it brought legit chills to Saturday mornings. It took the creepy grown-up vibes of Tales from the Crypt and scaled them down just enough for a younger audience. The Crypt Keeper was still here, still creepy, just with slightly fewer corpse jokes, and every week he served up a fresh, freaky tale with a moral that slapped. Each episode followed a kid who did something shady, lied, cheated, bullied someone, and then ended up haunted, cursed, time-trapped, or full-on monsterfied. It wasn't just jump scares, it was spooky with purpose. You learned stuff, sometimes the hard way. And the best part? It didn't sugarcoat anything. The consequences were real and sometimes pretty terrifying. The animation leaned into the darkness too. Shadows, fog, weird color palettes. It felt like Halloween got its own cartoon. And then there were the other hosts, the Old Witch and the Vault Keeper. They popped in to argue over who got to tell the next story, like ghoulish siblings fighting over bedtime tales. It added a fun little layer of chaos on top of the fear. This wasn't the kind of show that held your hand. It trusted you to handle creepy vibes and maybe come out a little wiser. If you were the kid who wanted to be scared on a Saturday morning, Tales from the Crypt Keeper was your quiet, creepy favorite. And yeah, you probably turned the lights on afterward, just in case. Underrated, underrated, underrated. Finally at number 1 Road Rovers, 1996 to 1997. Talking dogs in power suits saving the world? Yeah, that actually happened, and it ruled. Road Rovers was the kind of show that felt like someone dared a cartoon writer to mash up X-Men, Power Rangers, and your childhood pet. And somehow, it worked. 5 regular dogs from around the world get turned into Cano Sapiens, basically buff, upright, crime-fighting good boys, and form a secret team to take down evil. Because of course they do, each member had a thing. Hunter was the fast-talking leader with literal super speed. Colleen could roundhouse kick you into next week. Exile had ice vision, heat vision, and the thickest Russian accent on TV. Blitz was the insecure Doberman who tried too hard, and Shag was basically a walking coat closet with fur deep enough to hide a full toolkit. It was chaotic, lovable, and weirdly heartfelt. The show didn't hold back. One episode, they'd be battling mutant dogs. Next, Egyptian curses, time travel, werewolves, mind control satellites, all in 13 episodes. It felt like they crammed an entire toy line into every plot. And honestly, we were into it. The tone was all over the place, but in the best way. You'd go from goofy jokes about chew toys to emotional beats about loyalty and belonging. Underneath all the fur and lasers, it was about being the underdog, literally, and stepping up when the world needed you. Road Rovers didn't stick around long, but it left a paw print on anyone who caught it. You remember the theme song. You remember the villain named Parvo. And admit it, you still know exactly which Rover was your favorite. No shame. We all did. Which of these cartoons do you remember best? And which one do you wish you could watch just one more time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for more nostalgic trips through the past.